By the end of this session, you should be able to get into all of this. Key components of effective communication, some do's and don'ts like face-to-face, what you should do, telephone, what is the behavior, what is the discipline that you should follow, written communication. To a great extent, we touched upon this yesterday, so let's reinforce that. The other thing is feedback. Did I really make an impact? Right? Did my thinking process, my thought process, my communication, idea I had in mind, did that reach the recipient? The recipient could be a customer, could be a vendor, could be a colleague. Right? Did that really happen? So we'll see how to do it. So these are the methods. What does it entail? We are going to talk about face-to-face, telephone, written, and the last part, was the communication effective? So what does this mean? Now there is a big challenge today, and you will observe people in general can be categorized into two categories, right? Broad categories, introverts and extroverts. There are of course a lot of shades in between, but in general, broad category is introvert and extroverts. And today what's happening is social media is also turning a lot of introverts into extroverts. Because of what I described yesterday, social media gives you this feeling, this great feeling and power that I have my little private space, and in that private space I can do anything. Right? So that it is healthy. It is healthy in the sense it allows a lot of people who otherwise would find it very difficult to communicate, stand in front of an audience and talk. But when they're abstracted from the physical conversation, when they're hidden behind a virtual medium, they freely open up. And then they very freely share thoughts. So that is the power of what social media has done. The downside of that is it has become conversation and conversation and conversations. Right? Nobody today seems to have the time and patience to listen. So we'll see why that is important. So communication here, as described here, is the art of transmitting information, ideas and attitudes from one person to another. So when I'm standing here and when I'm talking to you, when I'm doing this session, my goal, going by this guideline and definition, is that what I have planned for this session, I should be able to gauge, effectively communicate that to you, get feedback, looking at you, asking questions to see if I have done the right thing, if you have been able to grasp. Right? Now here is a contained session with a structure, with a plan, with a well-defined PPT backing me. But when you go to a meeting, when you go to a customer meeting, sometimes it's a mixture of formal and informal communication. So you really have to figure out how to streamline all this, build upon the session. Right? And that is not easy. There is a lot of art involved in it. It's not apparent, and you can very easily get distracted. So if you're conscious about all of this methods that is going to come across in this PPT or presentation is going to talk about how do you get that in the given time frame when you have these meetings, when you have conversations, how do you make it most effective.